Welcome to the Nomad Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the digital nomad lifestyle. Every week, we get up close and personal with those who are living it, sharing stories and advice about working remotely and traveling the world. If you're curious about the digital nomad lifestyle and wondering how you can do it too, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Joshua Snitgen, and you are listening to the Nomad Podcast. So today I'm chatting with Joe Gray, a former Royal Marines Commando who is now living the digital nomad lifestyle in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is an awesome place, by the way. Um, so welcome to the Nomad Podcast, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Pretty good. How's it up there in Chiang Mai?
Yeah, it's pretty dreamy. Yeah, it's better,
Yeah.
better than the United Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, how is I'm curious, how is the air quality right now? Because I know it's been pretty bad down south, but is it burning season now? Is it
Uh,
pretty okay there?
Not yet. No one's been talking about it either. So we'll wait and
Okay.
see. But I think, yeah, I'm not too sure when it is, but I think it's
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Okay. So how long have you been there yet? Or I think you said
Yeah,
November, I think it was, of 2024.
no. So I left the military in October, and I flew to uh, Thailand on the 12th of January. So I've been in Thailand since the
Okay.
12th. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. And you've just been here since then in Chiang Mai?
Well, I did a bit of traveling with my mates down south first, which was carnage, and then settled
Okay.
up here. So I'm here for like 5 months now, I reckon.
Okay. How was
Yeah.
that? Were you in like Phuket or Koh Phi Phi,
Yeah,
or where were you?
yeah. Like my mates just wanted to do the classic, like all the islands. So we were
Yeah.
just dragging ourselves around the islands and spending way too much money. Did a bit of diving. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good fun. But I was trying to work at the same time, and I was like, guys, I'm not on holiday. Like, I need
Yeah.
to work. And they were like, yeah, I don't want to hear about it. Come and have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So you were a Royal Marines Commando before this, but how did you? I guess tell me what was that like? Tell me about that.
Okay, so yeah, when I was 18 years old, I made the decision to join it, but my parents were like,
Hmm.
"Nah, only idiots and criminals join the military." And I was like, "Okay." So I waited about 2.5 years. I actually joined when I was
Hmm.
21, and the reason why I
Okay.
joined is because I just wanted to do the hardest possible thing you can do as a civilian, is join the Royal Marines in the UK. Like I
Hmm.
think it's the hardest basic training in NATO. So
Okay.
I was like, bring it on. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can do this. And then you just feel the fear and do it anyway, don't you? Just jump in. You might
Yeah.
surprise yourself. So yeah, did it. And then I think there was 37 of us that started in the troop, and 6 of us made it until the end. So I was like, oh,
Okay.
I did it. I tried it and I did it.
Well, nice. Well, I've seen videos of basic training in the U.S., but how have you? Do you know the difference? Is it you said it's harder than
Yeah. So
than that?
yeah, I'd say that our equivalent um, isn't like the U.S. Marine Corps. They can choose to be a bit more specialist. Um, yeah, so like yeah, the selection process to be a Marine is yeah, it's pretty tough, man. It's pretty tough. I think I would breeze Marine training in the US like easily.
And then how did you feel after that? Did you feel like was it? I'm sure it was exhausting after all that.
Yeah, do you know what, Josh? Right, so I you do the 30 miler in 8 hours. So you carry all your kit across one of our national parks, Dartmoor. Disgusting place, awful place. And yeah, after that 8 hours, you get given your coveted green beret, and then you're just there like, wow, I finally got it. And you put it on, you're like, oh yeah, sweet, nice. And then you got on a
Yeah.
coach to go back to camp, right? And I was like sat on the back of the coach. Everyone else had fallen asleep, and I was sat there looking at my lid because we called it a lid. I was looking at my
Hmm.
lid. I was just like, oh, what's next? And I think that's kind of my personality. It's always just like wanting more, wanting more, wanting more. And I think that was like one of the key moments in my life where I sort of semi realized that I was one of those cracked people that was just never happy, never ever happy
Hmm.
at all. Wanted more. Same with like money, just like chasing money. I'm sure that everyone understands this, but it was the same. Like even going through 8 months of grueling training, and like the same day, I was a bit like, right, I need to do something else now.
So how long were you in the Royal Marines for?
So nearly 9 years. Best part of a
Oh
decade.
wow. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay. And did you enjoy it, or I know you're a digital nomad now. Was that like you're wanting something different, or was it like how did that transition happen for you?
I think for the most part, I didn't actually enjoy my career, which sounds wild.
Okay.
But the good
For nine
stuff
years.
is, yeah, for like, most of the 9 years, I don't think I enjoyed it that much.
Okay.
I was kind of miserable anyway, and I didn't really have any direction when I was in. So, but then there was a couple of years where I really did like some really, really cool stuff. Maybe like best
Hmm.
part of 3 years, actually, which outweighed all of the bad stuff. So that was really good. And then after that, it looked like the bad stuff was like outweighing the good stuff again. So I was just like, do you know what?
Hmm.
Nearly 30 years old. I don't want to repeat of what I've just done for the past 9 years in the hopes that I'll start doing the
Yeah.
cool stuff. There's a lot of the world out there, right? And this is where loads of people fall short. They don't just like, they don't sort of, they're a bit scared of change. And it's like, don't be scared of change. Like, there's so much going on out there. And I was like, instead of spending another 10 years in the military, I was like, I could go and spend 10 years being, I don't know, digital nomad.
Yeah. So digital nomading, it's kind of like an out there thing. I guess it's become more popular in recent years, but I don't think it's still a normal thing that people do, as you know. But so I guess why digital nomading as opposed to any other career back in Britain, back in the
Yeah.
UK?
I mean, I personally, it's like, this is my opinion. Like, I personally do not like the UK. Like, I just don't like being there. I think everything's too expensive. The weather's shit. Everyone's
Okay.
right, and it's not. And people just
I
like,
don't think you're alone there. I don't think you're alone.
no, I know I'm not alone, but I know that there are people who actually like the UK. So I'm just trying not to
Yeah.
get like hackles raised. But I personally,
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm so done with it. And I think like if you think about it, like, I was just so as a soldier, you're so like claustrophobic with the amount of
Hmm.
like orders you have to take, and like they tell you what color socks to wear, man. Like they tell you to wear like little tiny pieces of elastic around your ankles that you can't even fucking
Yeah.
see. Um,
Okay.
and the last couple of years I was there, I was like, I just want to be so free that they like no one can tell me what to do, like no one. So I don't even want a normal job. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to teach people how to be the best version of themselves. And then I was like, oh shit, I can do that remotely. I was like,
Hmm.
whoa, hold on a second. And then this whole different world just opened up, and I was like, oh my God, no one's telling me what to do. No one's
Yeah.
telling me what to do. And I could get to be wherever I want, whenever I want. It's like, that's crazy.
I'm sure that was an awesome feeling where, you went from so much structure in the military to, being able to do anything you want to.
Yeah, it's like, could not be more of an opposite, though.
Yeah.
So, so
I can imagine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah. So I'm curious though, why Thailand? I mean, people go to Portugal, people go to Vietnam, people, I don't know, Indonesia, but what drew you to Thailand?
Yeah, do you know what?
I guess, but actually, before that, I want to ask,
Okay.
had you traveled before? Had you been to other countries?
Well, yeah, both inside and outside of the military. So obviously,
Okay.
when you're part of a organisation that is a crazy, crazy lifestyle, because it's not a job, it is a lifestyle. Being in the military, you do get exposed to
Hmm.
some random things in random places. So yeah, been to the jungles of Belize in Central America. Been to Norway a lot.
Oh wow.
Bounced around Europe. Been to
Okay.
America. Uh, a lot of Europe. So yeah, travelled in that sense, and then that's like a different sort of travelling. That's like I don't know, sneaking around some islands in Lithuania trying to avoid like Russian Spetsnaz. That's a true story, by the way. and
Okay.
and then if you're in the military, you get quite a lot of annual leave as well. So like you can have up to sort of like the same amount of leave as a school kid. So quite a
Hmm.
lot. So like 4 or 5 weeks off at summer, and then you get paid full whack whilst you're there. So
Okay.
everyone flies as far away from the UK as possible and goes on their own
Yeah.
deployments whilst they're like recharging their batteries. So
Yeah.
one of the times that I was like super miserable in the military, I just went, fuck it, I'm going to go to Thailand because everyone's telling me to
Hmm.
go to Thailand. And it's like, it's kind of important to like, when you're going through a difficult time, don't just like shut down and then just be in your comfort.
Yeah.
It's like,
You just
actually.
want to do something completely
Yeah,
different from what you were doing before. Yeah.
exactly. And like if you've never been to Southeast Asia before and you go there by yourself, and then all of a sudden you're literally there like 2 hours into traveling and you're in like Bangkok, Chinatown with like 10 people you don't know. It's like, whoa,
Hmm.
you can't possibly think about how sad everything is back in the UK if you're there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I just kind of fell in love with Thailand. It was my first exposure of Southeast Asia, and like
Awesome.
it is so good here though. Like, everyone loves it. Everyone loves the
Yeah.
culture, like
Yeah.
Westerners, Asians alike, and it's just so good.
Yeah. So this is your first time in Thailand. You've never been to Southeast Asia before.
Yeah,
Um,
no. Oh, sorry. This was in 2023. So I have been before. Been to Vietnam,
okay. Okay.
um, Malaysia, Singapore, and then and
Okay.
then I hadn't come back for like a while, and then I was like, wow, I can actually go and spend like 3 months in Thailand if I wanted
Yeah.
to. Yeah, this is literally where I am right now, in the middle of my 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your first time in Thailand as a civilian then.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. So when you got to the airport, you first flew into probably Suvarnabhumi Airport, the main airport in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess, what were you feeling when you first stepped out? What was that experience like for you?
I mean, you get you kind of get numbed to like big changes when you're in the military. So
Hmm.
I feel like I've got bit more of a unique aspect of the world than most people, if that makes sense. Like you get thrown into the deep end, as it were, like
Hmm.
constantly. Like you are everything's constantly changing. You're constantly learning new skills in the
Hmm.
hardest way possible, and then you've got constant pressure because it's not an environment where you get brought up. It's an environment where if you fuck up, you get put down. It's negative
Yeah.
reinforcement all day, every day. You never get praised.
Yeah.
Perfection is not good enough. So like any big changes I have in my life now, it's just like meh. So I'm so
Hmm.
used to it. So you can just sort of like if you are sort of throwing yourself into the deep end of stuff, eventually you do become numb to it. It's like jumping out of a plane. The second time you jump out of a plane is worse than the first time. But guess what?
Hmm.
Jump out of a plane 1,000 times. You're not going to feel anything on the 999th jump, are you? It's just going to be like, oh, I've done this before.
No.
So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
very routine, very, very normal.
yeah. The most emotional aspect of it was my aunt and uncle. They put me up for a couple of months as I was transitioning out of the military, and then just saying goodbye to
Okay.
them. I was a bit like, oh, I'm going to be by myself for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. How was that? Because now we're pretty far away from the UK now, other side of the world. But how was that transitioning to being by yourself now, as opposed to being back home in the UK?
Well, it's by myself in a different way than you think. Actually, it's by myself in the
Hmm.
fact that I don't have 30 other lads that are the same age. We're all a bit special. If I was
Yeah.
to be polite, I would say that we're all a little bit special. So having that camaraderie between the lads, you know, and you're constantly living on top of each other. Like you eat with them, shower with them, sleep in the same room, and then coming here, it's like, oh wow, I feel a bit weird if I spend the day by myself because that's not normal. I haven't had that for
Yeah.
years.
Well, but you used the word claustrophobic before, and now you feel very free, but
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like that's almost like a weird thing to you now.
Mm. Well, yes, but the only negative thing is the boys that I used to work with. So like obviously like the banter like backwards and forwards and like everyone like taking a piss or you know laughing at you
Yeah.
because he's fucked up or whatever. Like
Yeah.
everyone misses that when they leave the military. Literally everyone.
Hmm.
So it has to
Hmm.
be a really powerful reason why you're leaving the military in order to throw that away. Because
Yeah.
yeah, that really is like a really important part of our lives. And yeah, lads do struggle
Hmm.
with it. I mean, I'm gonna probably struggle when I don't see the lads.
So you've been in Thailand for about 3 or almost over 2 months now, right?
About 6 weeks, I think, 7 weeks.
Okay, cool. So I guess the big question is, do you th so far, like, do you think it's been worth it leaving the UK and coming to Thailand?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this on behalf of like lots of business owners, but like business isn't guaranteed. So like
Hmm.
it's not all like sunshine and rainbows. Like being in Thailand and working for yourself, it's like it sounds dreamy, but it is really hard work. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be starting my own business. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a bit naive. I just went straight into it with like an unlimited amount of confidence, which is kind of like probably a little bit stupid because I was like, it'll be okay. Yeah, and it's like, nah, like I know how to be a personal trainer. I know how to be a coach. All the business things, Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
blindsided by all that. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. So wrapping my head around
So,
it, pretty difficult, yeah.
so you're a coach now, but I guess I wanted to ask, is that something that you already had going for you before you came to Thailand, or is that something that, or do you have another job that you did remotely, and then slowly you're building up your coaching business now?
No, it was like when I was in the military, it was kind of like a natural transition of going more into like learning all about physical robustness and fitness and stuff. So I kind of knew that I wanted to leave, and then obviously when you want to change in life, you have to like make sure you're set up. So I got my qualifications, which were a piece of piss really because of my background. It's like it was really easy to just like do that skill transfer and get the qualification that's recognised worldwide. It was like 8 weeks of courses, and I was just done, like top box ticking exercise basically. But then that allowed me to be my troops physical training instructor inside the military, and I also attempted British Special Forces selection whilst I was in, and then I trained another lad for his attempt. So all of a sudden, whilst I was still in, I was like, hang on a second. I actually do think that this is going to be my next job. This makes sense. I was like, I feel it. Because obviously at the end of the day, we need to have a passion for things as human beings. Otherwise you just feel like purposeless, especially as men.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, like I think this is my next thing. I think this is it. So it was kind of nice. And then as I was leaving the military, I had 3 months of full pay. So I just piled 3 months of pay into a business mentor in business and got that like up and running. So which was like perfect, really. Yeah.
So you had a bit of a runway when you got here to settle in and to feel comfortable at first.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I have been flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know. You know that film, Wallace and Gromit, The Wrong Trousers. You know when Gromit is like laying down the tracks as he's going along in the train.
I don't know that one actually. No.
Right. So basically, Gromit is like he's traveling at the speed of sound on a train, but he's putting the tracks down in front of him. It's like a toy train track. And that's exactly what it felt like. I was looking on my business balance sheet like a month into the future, and I was like, I'm going to have to dissolve the business and move back to the UK. And it's like, oh my God, it's horrific. But then I did actually realise as well, because of my background of just like going straight into the deep end and doing hard things, like I was saying about the 909 jump out of the plane, you become so accustomed to doing hard stuff that it is just normal.
Yeah, I think in my experience too, it was kind of the same way because I graduated high school and immediately went off to Asia. And some months some months were okay, but I'm not gonna lie, some months I was feeling a bit nervous about the future. Um, and sometimes you just have to go with it, and you just have to trust that things are gonna work out in the end.
Yeah, you just got to put the hard work in there and know that if you put in the hours, you will make it. Don't give up. The 99.9%. They give up. Don't be those shit. Carry on.
Yeah. And I think too, when you put yourself in this position where you do have that uncertainty, it's like you're more likely to succeed because you don't have that backup plan.
It is. It's kind of like, I think a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of successful people do this. It's like arrogant confidence. It's all or nothing. I think I'm quite an extreme person anyway. I always have been as a kid. So it suited me perfectly. It's like there is no failure. There is no other option. It's not like work out. This has happened. There is no plan B. This is plan B. But I'm on plan B. I'm not in the military anymore. That's fucking plan A. So like plan B it has to work. There's no plan C. And it's just like you're backed into a corner, and it's like, if I don't make, my next paycheck, the thought stops there. It's like a paradox. It doesn't exist. You have to just do it. You're backed into a corner. You have to fight it out. But it does make you do it, because I know a lad back in the UK. We're going to think about starting some separate businesses up together, and he's got a full-time job, so he's always got that safety net there, right? I'll just say to him, I was like gently just saying to him, I was like, look what happened with me and my online coaching business. I didn't have anything else, so I had to make it work. So it does work. And he was like, bro, I do fully understand that, which is good, because he's a businessman as well. He's done it before, but
Yeah.
No.
Do you know the show? A Shark Tank, right?
What's that again?
So entrepreneurs come on and they pitch their product to the sharks. There's 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember there's one episode where this lady comes on, and I forget what her product was, but they were like, so how are you supporting yourself in New York City? Because that's where she was living at the moment. And she was like, oh yeah, my dad's there. He's financing everything for me. And none of the sharks took her offer because, she didn't have that. There's no reason for her to succeed, because if her life is being financed by her dad, then, why is she going to make this work?
Yeah, that's an interesting way of going. Yeah, because it's like they're sort of judging her on her like personality, her character, her fight, her drive.
Yeah. And then you hear of entrepreneurs who literally have $5 or $6 in their bank account, and they're literally going to die. They're going to go homeless if they don't make their business work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's an important thing, to be able to, or to have no safety net and to have no plan B.
Yeah, I think people. Yeah, I think people don't realize it enough. Like, if you really do have no safety net, you'll be surprised, genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
What you can do.
And that's it for this episode of the Nomad Podcast. If you want to learn more about Joe's coaching program and his military-derived blueprint for achieving your biggest goals, make sure to check that out down in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.